Hello students, in this new Excel adventure, we cover the very useful function XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is in fact a new and improved version of VLOOKUP. It can do everything VLOOKUP can do and more. Now I hear you ask, why do we bother learning VLOOKUP if XLOOKUP is better? Good question. The reason to learn VLOOKUP are pragmatic, and there's two of them, at least. One is you will encounter VLOOKUP in the workplace. It's almost guaranteed. It's been around for a very long time. People still use it. Maybe they don't know about XLOOKUP. Maybe they don't want to update. Maybe it's too complicated to update, but you will encounter VLOOKUP. You need to know how it works. Second reason, in previous versions of Excel, there was no XLOOKUP. So if you use an older version of Excel, like Excel 2019 or 2016 or older, there's just no XLOOKUP. So you need to make do with what you have, which is VLOOKUP. All that said, if you start a workbook from scratch, for example, I would suggest use XLOOKUP. Now, because they can do the same things, and XLOOKUP can do a bit more, I'll use the same examples as we had in the previous video about VLOOKUP to showcase the power of XLOOKUP. So in this workbook, we have a table that has the following information: some countries and regions, and then life expectancy in specific years for those countries and regions. So let's just recap VLOOKUP. Let's say that I want to find the life expectancy in a country, Argentina, from this table. So how do we do this with VLOOKUP? Easy. We start with VLOOKUP. Then first argument is what I'm looking for in the table. Okay, so the identifier of the country, A2 here, because I've written my country in A2. Then second argument is the table array. So here I need to put the whole table, okay, as the second argument where my information is. So I put the table. And then third argument is the column index. So the number of the column for what I want to return. So in this case, if I want to return the life expectancy in 2020, that's the 8th column in my table. I'm going to put 8. Okay, now those are the only 3 mandatory arguments. And so let's try with this. And this, in fact, highlights what I think is a small flaw of VLOOKUP, which is this. It returns a value, but is it the value of the life expectancy in Argentina? No, it's this value over here. So what's happening here? Well, this behavior is caused by actually the fourth argument. But the fourth argument, you see, you don't have to put it, okay? There's a default value, and the default value is this: true approximate match. So true approximate match is the default value of this fourth argument if you don't put anything. And so Excel is actually looking for Argentina, but it's satisfied with an approximate match to Argentina. And here, I frankly don't know why, but it is satisfied with this, okay? Arab world, for whatever reason, okay, Argentina starts with AR, so for whatever reason, Excel is happy with AR Arab world here, okay? So it's not the right answer, of course. Now, to be fair, you can fix this problem quite easily by simply putting in the fourth argument this thing, false exact match. Okay, so if I put false here, now I fix the problem. False means, again, an exact match. So I tell Excel, okay, look exactly for Argentina. And then, yes, it works. It does find that the life expectancy in Argentina is this value, which is correct. But now, XLOOKUP, by default, uses exact match. Okay, meaning, and now we show the syntax of XLOOKUP through this example. If I type XLOOKUP, first argument is again the lookup value. So what I want to find, so same thing, A2 in this case. But now second argument is different, lookup array. So in the second argument, instead of putting the whole table, I just put the array of what I'm looking for, meaning the array of the country in this case. Okay, so I'm putting the simply what's in this column, the A column. Okay, so I don't need to put the whole table. The third argument, which is the last mandatory argument, is the return array. So this is what I want to return. And again, I can just put a single array, meaning a single column. So I'm going to put, again, the life expectancy here in 2020. Okay, and you see, because I put one array for what I'm looking for, the country, and one array for what I want to return, the life expectancy in 2020, I don't need to put a number of column. This doesn't apply. Okay, so those 3 arguments are enough, and indeed they will return the same value. Okay, here it's just not rounded up to the same number of digits, but it's exactly the right answer, the life expectancy in Argentina. Okay, but now let's cover the other arguments. Okay, already I think we have an advantage, well, two advantages, which is that exact match is used by default, and also I think it's an advantage to not have to put the whole table, because what we want is just one thing. Okay, when we put the whole table here in VLOOKUP, it's a little bit annoying to have to put the number of the column, because if you have many columns, that's kind of prone to error to know exactly what the number of the column you want is. Okay, I think this is a bit neater. But let's see another advantage. This is the fourth argument. Well, let me just illustrate one thing. If I had messed up here, if I had put the name of a country that doesn't exist, for example, and here apologies to my Argentinian friends, if I misspell Argentina and I put Argentina, okay, this returns NA here because yes, by default, it's an exact match, so Argentina doesn't exist. Now go back to VLOOKUP, it also returns NA, but because I put here false manually. If I had not put this, it defaults to an approximate match, and then again, if I have Argentina, it's going to look for an approximate match, and again, it's satisfied with this match, okay, which is of course not what I want. Okay, so here I get NA if it doesn't find Argentina. This allows me to also to explain the fourth argument here in XLOOKUP, which is if not found. Now, this argument is not mandatory, but you can, with this argument, specify precisely what you want to return if XLOOKUP doesn't find the value you're looking for. Meaning, I could personalize here and type no country, for example. So instead of returning NA, it's going to return a personalized sentence. Okay, in this case, it's not finding Argentina, so it returns no country. As simple as that for the fourth argument. Now we get to the fifth argument. And the fifth argument is match mode. Now there's a few options here. Again, by default, if you don't put anything for this argument, Excel is going to use exact match. Okay, it just simply means it's looking for exactly what I put here, Argentina, okay, or Argentina. But there's another option I want to explain here, which is let's go back to match mode. So, okay, -1 and 1, let's explain them in a second in a different example. What I want to focus on for this is wildcard. Okay, so number 2 means wildcard character match. What does this do? It allows you to look for only part of a word in the lookup array. Okay, this is better illustrated with an example. So let's use the match mode 2, which again corresponds to wildcard. Now, let's use as an example Africa here to illustrate what I want. Africa is actually not found here. There's not a value Africa, but there is Africa, Eastern and Southern. So I can tell Excel, look for Africa followed by anything. Okay, look for Africa, and I don't care what follows the word Africa. And this you use, you do it in the following way. A2, and then ampersand. Okay, so this is Excel syntax. Ampersand is going to attach A2 to what you put after the ampersand. And here the wildcard character is in fact the star. Okay, now because it's a character, I need to put it in quotation marks. So this is Excel syntax, ampersand in quotation marks star, and this is my wildcard. So this is going to then return something. Okay, what this does is that it's looking for Africa followed by anything. And here you see it returns the value 63.31. What is this value? It's in fact the value here, 63.31. Well, yes, because Excel is looking for Africa followed by whatever. Okay, but careful with this. It finds the first that corresponds to what I put, meaning it returns the first Africa followed by something. You need to be careful just because you see in this case, I also have a value Africa, Western, and Central. That's not what it's returning because it's returning the first match of Africa followed by wildcard, okay, followed by whatever characters. Now, if what you want is Africa, Western, and Central, you can, for example, type here Africa W, and that should work. Well, yes, because now it's looking for Africa W followed by whatever. And here, this is no longer Africa W. So then it goes here, Africa W something. It returns this value, in this case, the 57. Okay, 57 over there. Now you could have put your wildcard before, okay, before the A2, meaning, let's try, if you put this wildcard before A2, don't forget the ampersand, so wildcard ampersand A2, it's now looking for, well, it doesn't found anything because what this means is that it's looking for some characters that are followed by Africa W, okay? Nothing is like that in the table. However, let's remove the W. Okay, now something is returned because in this list, there is actually an entry that ends with Africa. Okay, let's have a look. It's around here. Okay, this entry, you see, Middle East and North Africa. So it ends with Africa, and this is what is returned here. Look at this value, 7295. This is what is returned here, 7295. Indeed, because I'm looking for some characters, whatever they are, followed by Africa. Okay, followed by what is in A2. Okay, pretty good. A few more things. Let's again explain. Oh, first things first. Last argument here, search mode. I'm not covering it. Okay, this video is going to be long enough, so I'm not covering it. You could have a slightly more efficient search by changing those options, but I'm not going to cover it here. What I want to show is the option you see -1 and 1. Okay, but that's relevant if we are if we're looking up for numbers rather than words. So this is what I'm going to do in this other sheet. Okay, by the way, this I want to show later, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, this is a different sheet with different information. We have a mortality table, the probabilities of survival and the probabilities of death for different ages. This comes from the female Australian life table. So here, just to practice XLOOKUP, let's say that I want to find the probability of survival of someone age 5. Okay, 5 meaning the value I put here. XLOOKUP. Try to see if you can do it in your mind, how you would do this. Take a second. Okay, so I'm looking for this, in this case, F1. I'm looking where? I'm looking in the lookup array, which is going to be this. By the way, here I'm using the shortcut. If you don't know, instead of just dragging to select the whole array here, you can simply, well, you select the first one, and then the shortcut is Control-Shift, arrow down. So Control-Shift, arrow down. I select everything one shot. Okay, so that's the lookup array where I'm looking for the age 5. Then if I want to return the probability of survival, same thing, Control-Shift down, that will work. Okay, but now I want to use this example to illustrate the match mode -1 and 1. It's pretty simple. It allows you to have a non-exact match in the following way. So let's say that I put something that's not 5. Okay, but because by the way here 5 it worked. Okay, it found a value that corresponds to an age of 5, which is this value here. But if I put 5.1, well, 5.1 is not in this table, so it returns NA. But by changing the 5th argument, now this argument, if not found, I don't really care about it, so I'm going to leave it empty. But the 5th argument, say that I put -1 here. This means exact match or next smaller item. So next smaller item, let's see what this does. Well, 5.1 is not in the table, but the value that's closest but smaller than 5.1 is 5. So it is going to indeed return this value. But if I had used 1 instead, 1 means exact match or next larger item, then it's going to return something different. It's going to look for 5.1 here in the age. It doesn't find 5.1. It's going to look for the number that is the closest to 5, but bigger. Okay, bigger than 5, but closer to 5, which is then 6. And then indeed, this is the value we have. Okay, the value that corresponds to the probability of survival of someone age 6. Okay, that's the behavior of this of the match mode -1 or 1. It's in fact looking for the value, but rounding either up or down if there's no exact match. Okay, good. Now, one more thing, well, a few more things. For this specific sheet, one more thing I wanted to show what was here before. XLOOKUP is useful to complete a table with information that is in a different table. So for example, here, I have probability of survival, probability of death. Let's say that I want the life expectancy, the remaining life expectancy at a given age, but it's not here, but it's in a different table. So in this, in this sheet, which is separate, I have what I want, the remaining life expectancy at given ages. How do I bring this information to this table without doing messy copy and paste? Because here, just to show you the potential complexities, this is you know, in ascending order. Here you have in descending order, so copy pasting won't work. Okay, but you can use XLOOKUP. Let's see how this is done. XLOOKUP. What I want here is I want to look up this specific age, of course. Okay, so A2. Then where am I looking for this age? I'm looking in the other table, in the other sheet. So I'm going to click here. That's no problem. I go to the age here. Again, Control Shift down. I put the whole array. Okay, the whole column A1 to A111. Now, what am I returning? Well, I'm returning the life expectancy. So again, this is the whole array B. Okay, and that should work. Okay, drum roll. Yes, okay, I have returned the life expectancy of someone age 0, 84, 85. Indeed, it is what I have here, 84, 85. But of course, I want this for the whole table, so I can just drag the formula. Just be careful. When you drag the formula, everything, all the cells are going to update. A2, I want it to update, but everything else, okay, the lookup array and the return array, I don't want those to update, so I'm going to put $signs to protect those arrays from updating. So put $sign, whoops, not here, $sign, and then I'm ready to drag the formula. It should work. Yes, indeed. Now, another trick, in case you don't know, you can drag manually to the bottom, but you can also double click. So if you double click here on this corner, it drags automatically to the bottom, okay, which is great. Then yes, indeed, it works. Someone age 109, as unfortunately for them, only 1.37 years on average, okay, based on the Australian mortality table. Yes, 1.37 years left on average. Okay, that is good. And then, okay, to finish off, okay, the cherry on top is showing something that XLOOKUP can do and VLOOKUP cannot do, okay, which is the following. In VLOOKUP, there's a limitation that the lookup value in the table that you specify, if we go back to the VLOOKUP example, you see here, I was looking for A2 in the whole table, and I needed to put the whole table. But not only do I need to put the whole table, the lookup value needs to be in the very first column. Okay, that's a limitation of VLOOKUP. It needs to be, in this case, that the country is in the first lookup. I could not have the opposite. I could not have the country in the column H, for example, and then the life expectancy I'm looking for in column A. That would not work in VLOOKUP, but XLOOKUP can deal with that. Okay, let's just see this with an example. Let's repeat what I did before. Sorry if this is a bit repetitive, but it's, you know, repetitiveness makes practice, and then we learn, I suppose. So again, XLOOKUP, let's do exactly what we did before. I'm looking for this age in this array, and I want to return the other array in column B, the life expectancy. Okay, this works. It finds the life expectancy, the remaining life expectancy of someone age 5. That works. But now I'm going to show you that it works even if the columns are swapped. Okay, so let me unhide. Okay, I prepared this ahead of time just for you, so I'm going to unhide it. This exactly the same information, but you see it's in reverse order. First, I have the life expectancy, and then I have the age. But that's not a problem for XLOOKUP, okay? Meaning here, let's redo this again. I'm looking for the age 5, and the age is actually on the right, but that's fine. I can put the column on the right, G, okay? And then on the arguments, what I want to return, I put F. And this should be no problem. Yes, no problem for XLOOKUP. I find indeed 80.15. Let's just double check. 80.15. What I wanted. Great. And by the way, here it doesn't really matter, but you see, I put the whole column. So this is like the whole column. That this works as well. Okay, as opposed to just putting what I have up to the bottom. Okay, but I suppose that's a detail that we don't care about too much. But just for your information, both of these syntax work. Very good. Bear with me. One last thing. Okay, I promise. One last thing. I want to show you the power of XLOOKUP, what it can do that VLOOKUP cannot do. It can do horizontal searches, okay? What do I mean by that? Let me just hide this again. I'm going to unhide what was here. Okay. Let's say that again, I have the same information, but it's presented in a different way, which could happen in practice. Okay. For whatever reason, it could be that you have the age not in a column, but in a row. And same thing, you have the life expectancies at those ages in the second row. Can we do the same and return life expectancy of a given age? Yes, we can. Okay. We couldn't do it with VLOOKUP, but now let's mix things up. Let's say I'm looking for the life expectancy of someone aged 105. Okay. I'm going to use XLOOKUP, but now doing searching in a row, okay, instead of a column. It does work. Okay. Again, D1 is what I'm looking for. I'm looking where? I'm looking in this row. So I'm going to put here I1 to D01. What I want to return, of course, the second row here, I2 to D02. And then drum roll, it should work. Boom, we have succeeded. We have found the average remaining years of someone age 105. Yes, indeed, it is this value. And this highlights another thing that XLOOKUP can do and VLOOKUP cannot. That's it. We've done it. We've done it. Thank you so much for listening and bearing with me. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you in another video. Okay, so bye for now.